Well, if the thought of drag racing really gets your heart pumping, but having an actual drag racing car isn't really practical, well, there's something that you can check out on a slightly smaller scale that will help satisfy your need for speed. They're fast, and they're small. They're perfect for anyone looking to rekindle their love of remote control cars, but they're probably a lot faster than you remember.
Some of them are doing anywhere from 80 to 95 miles an hour in 2 seconds or less.
This is serious. This is like the real drag race, but with, RC cars.
Damon Nichols is not exaggerating. These guys have all they need to set up a drag race for RC cars, of course.
This is a timing tree, how everything is set up. And this is the staging tree right here. And you line up in the beams down here, and it'll count you down 3, 2, 1. When you lead through those blocks down there, you travel down through here. And once you pass through to here, the finish line, it records your speed, how long it took you to get there, the whole 9. Your right lane was the winner at 73 miles an hour, did a 2.1 seconds. The left lane was 60 miles an hour at 2.3 seconds. So they got down the track at 2.1 seconds is how long it's going to get down that track, 132 feet. That's what we do, RC drag racing. It's pretty much like a real drag racing strip, only on a smaller scale.
This is the Black Ops racing team, and they're meeting at the Crisfield Airport for some practice runs and friendly trash talk. Some have been doing it for a while, and others just had a few when they were kids.
I built my first one when I was 10 years old and just been into it ever since. And I've just got into the RC drag game this year.
So growing up, I was always around them. And like I say, when I seen these guys, it was just like, I gotta get back into this. Went and bought one, and a year later, I got too many.
So I grew up around a real drag strip, and that's what I love. I even have a car, but it costs a lot of money to run a real car. I mean, a lot of money, and be competitive. With this, a lot less money, I still get the same thrill, the same power, the same effect, other than the G-forces being in the car when you launch, but everything else is exactly the same.
As if these demons of the dragway aren't cool enough, they're completely customizable. Each racer builds their own car from the ground up.
Everything on these cars we pretty much do custom. And we customize the suspension, the wheels and tires on them, wheelie bars, steering, everything.
It's a basic chassis. It's a basic armor chassis, Centon vehicle, and I've taken it completely apart, modified it, lowered it, did some suspension stuff to it. Of course, different motor, different ESC, and different gears. Just change the gears to maximize your power outage.
Then you have a receiver here, which this is connected to. That's how you program everything through here. So it's all pretty basic.
The main goal is to keep these cars moving straight, but there's nothing easy about keeping a 70+ mile/hour car on course.
You want to drive your car as little as possible. So if you have your car set up right, you want to point and shoot. You really don't want to steer it too much because it can get real bad real fast. So the better you have your car set up, the better off it is.
A lot of us can actually tune our cars from our remote. Take and go in and change different things on your remote. Everything is totally tunable.
With this one receiver, I can pretty much tune everything on the car. The acceleration, how fast it takes off, how slow it takes off. I have a system that is set up in a 3-stage system where it comes in power in 3 different levels. It just depends on what the tracker holds. Some tracks hold a little more power, some hold a lot less power. So depending on what the tracker holds, you try to tune it in a little bit, give it more power. It has basically a clutch setting where you can put curve into it that'll help it slip a little bit to get you to launch a little better. You can do almost anything with it, almost anything. And this truck does have a name. It's called Old Heavy.
While the competition amongst the teammates can be fierce and the rush of racing and constructing these machines can be addicting, it's the brotherhood that keeps these guys on the track. And yet another cool thing about these cars is that anyone can do it.
It doesn't matter if you're 70 years old, if you're 10 years old. It fits the whole genre. We go to races, it's guys 65, 70 years old racing RC cars and racing alongside of 10-year-old kids getting smoked.
These things are absolutely fun for everybody of all ages. I mean, everybody get into them. There's different classes.
Yeah.
You can go as fast or as slow as you want. There's different classes for faster cars, slower cars.
Well, if you couldn't tell, building and racing RC cars is lots of fun, and you don't need a big, expensive race car to satisfy your need for speed.